A little over 5 years ago, I came down to this property, fell in love with it immediately, put an offer in, was lucky enough to get it, and decided I'm going to turn this into an urban homestead to rival all urban homesteads. And of course, part of that is putting solar panels on the roof to start providing some of your own energy. The question is, almost 5 years later, was that investment actually worth it? So I'm sitting up here on the roof, guys. It's a little bit blustery today, probably not good production on this cloudy morning, but we're gonna dig into the details here. I'm gonna give you the bottom line, but I'm also gonna give you the exact cost that I spent on the system, how much energy I produced, how much that energy was worth, and all the different considerations when it comes to putting solar on your roof, because the truth is, it's actually pretty complicated. So first we have to discuss the cost of the solar panels themselves. Now, of course, I made this complicated by doing it in two different parts. The very first thing I did was sign a contract to put in 14 panels. Those are the ones that you see right up here. And then a year later, I put in 11 more panels. So my solar cost to install is actually broken up into two different parts. So those first 14 panels were a total capacity of 4.76 kilowatt hours. That's what they could actually produce. And the gross cost was $26,066.19. But in the United States, during that year, there's a federal tax credit of 26%, which took $6,777 off the price for a total install cost for these 14 panels of $19,288.98. Now, just on those panels, they projected about 7,000 kilowatt hours of annual production and a payback period of 7 years and 7 months. Now, because I wanted to go epic here at the Epic Homestead, I decided to put 11 more panels on. So those had a projected kilowatt hour capacity of 4.07. The gross cost was $14,803, and after the rebate, it was $10,954.22, with a projected annual output of about 5,900 kilowatt hours per year and a payback of 4 years and 6 months. Which means that the combined system is 25 panels, would have cost me about $40,870, but with the rebate, only cost $30,243. Now, I say only about $30,000, fully realizing that is a lot of money, especially if you pay for it outright, like I did. There are loan and financing programs you can do with solar. There's like, I think, some sort of like rent to own type model that people will do, or you can just buy the panels outright. And I opted to buy them outright in this case. So my installers told me that the combined system's projected output would be about 12,850 kilowatt hours a year. Now, it's been 5 years, and I have the actual production data for every single one of these panels over the course of 5 years, so let's see if it matched up. Now, in the first year, 2021, I produced 7,892 kilowatt hours, and that's just with the first 14 panels, which is actually a little more than the 7,000 that they said the system would produce. So I overperformed in year one. In year two, which would be sort of a hybrid, I had these 14 panels, and then these panels came in somewhere around the halfway point of the year. I produced 11,603 kilowatt hours, which makes sense. It's just a little shy of the 12,800 they said I would produce. In 2023, I overperformed by producing about 13,170 kilowatt hours. And then in 2024 and 2025, it got a little bit lower, 12,800, which is exactly on the mark for what my installer projected. And then in 2025, data at least up till December 1st, so we could probably add another 400 kilowatt hours, would be 11,721. So let's call it about 2,200 just to be fair. Now, what's interesting about this is you can get a full sum of how many kilowatt hours you produced over the entire install lifetime. And that number, as of January 23rd, 2026, is a whopping 58,270 kilowatt hours. So now what we know is the cost of the system, we know the production in actual data of the system, and what we need to figure out is how much is that energy worth? So I find this a fun fact. When you look at the energy bill you actually pay every year after you get solar, it's never really zero. And that's because, at least in my city and state, you do have to pay a $10 a month connection fee. So no matter what, you're out 120 bucks a year for electricity. And there's an interesting phenomenon: when people get solar, their production capacity increases, so their consumption tends to increase. And that certainly happened here At the homestead, as you guys have seen over the years, we've put in a pond. That's running a pump 24/7, 365, and it's probably about $150 or $200 worth of energy per year, at least at my rates. We put in a greenhouse, and also we have a team that sometimes works here that's using all sorts of electricity, whether it be inside the house or outside the house. And so my consumption did increase, but I'm just gonna read off to you my actual costs that I paid the utility company on a year-by-year basis. So in the first year of having solar, I paid $0. I generated enough to have no utility bill. In year two, 2022, I paid $198.41. 2023 was about $320. 2024, $370, and then 2025 was $550, which is also the highest per kilowatt hour price we've ever paid here in San Diego. So that means the total I paid to utilities over the 5-year period for electricity was $1,440.27. I know people out here, especially in my city, that are paying $400 a month for electricity to the tune of thousands of dollars a year. So clearly having the solar reduced my energy bill, but is it enough to justify that around $30,000 that I put into the system? That's what we're here to find out. Now, why did my bills increase over time? Well, first of all, San Diego specifically has some of the highest per kilowatt hour energy rates in our entire country, averaging at about 33 cents per kilowatt hour when I first got the panels in, all the way up to about 44 cents per kilowatt hour at this time of year right now in 2026, January. It's quite high, which means that energy produced via a solar panel that can be sold back, or at least credited back at that per kilowatt hour rate, will actually tend to pay the system off faster just because the rates are higher. So this is where it starts to get really interesting. This is a savings calculation. This is the best we could do because there's peak hours, super off-peak hours, they blend, and then the rates themselves change, and even sometimes time of year. So we did a blended per kilowatt hour rate on a yearly basis to account for some of those fees going up over the years. And then we applied the amount of kilowatt hours we generated with the system to that blended rate to get a yearly value of the generated electricity here at the homestead. So starting in 2021 with the 14 panel system, it was about $2,500. But as soon as we kicked into the 25 panel system, we quickly went into $4,200 or so, then $5,200, $5,400, $5,100, and then so far, at least year to date, it's about $300, 3/4 of the way through the first month of the year. So that's a total sum of $22,830 in savings that are actually credited against my account. So if we take the $30,243 install cost, and then we credit the $22,830 in generated electricity from the solar panels, and then of course we have to add back the additional utility bills that I paid of $1,440.27, we get a total of $8,853.27. And what that number represents is how much more we need to generate as far as electricity costs go to fully pay back the fully baked costs of this system. What that equates to is I have about 30% of it left to pay off, or another way to put it is I'm about 70 to 71% paid off after almost exactly 5 years. Back in the day, I had done some calcs and it seemed like it would take anywhere from 5.5 to 6.5 years to pay it off based on this special circumstance of having very high energy costs here in San Diego. So when it comes down to it, was solar worth it for me here at the homestead, and would I recommend it to someone? It is a big fat it depends, because I'm gonna tell you, there are a lot of different factors that influence the decision here. First of all, if you could finance the solar at a reasonable rate and actually invest the difference, it probably would have been smarter than actually paying for it all up front, because honestly, the market did pretty well over the last 5 years. And if I had, let's say, a 3 or 4% interest rate on that financing, I could have had that money in the market, I would have made more money. So that actually would have been a point in favor of getting solar even more so, because I could have done some sort of financial arbitrage. The other thing to think about is, how is your utility company crediting back the energy you generate? Are you getting credit for it? If you're not getting credit for it, then of course it stops becoming worth it. It just doesn't make sense anymore. Other thing you have to consider is, are you gonna have to do any other remodels in order to get this done? I needed a new roof on this house regardless of if I was going to put solar on it, which is why I didn't include it in this calculation. But you can even include the portion of the roof that you had to remodel to install the solar in your federal tax rebate credit, which I believe we actually did. So that made it a little bit more affordable. And then you also have to consider, how much energy are you going to use? Are you planning on maxing it out? Because if you're not getting credit for that energy, you might as well use up to 100% of what you're producing, because otherwise it's going back into the grid for free. You're effectively becoming an energy company for your utility company and not getting any credit for it. In my case, I don't earn a negative credit anymore. I used to. I don't earn it anymore. So what I need to do is basically build systems here that intelligently and wisely use energy in a productive way, which is why the pond came in, which is why the chicken coop is automated, which is why the greenhouse runs fans and lighting that I may have opted not to do if I could have built up a credit. So in the end, it ended up being pretty worth it. Even though, of course, I don't live here as my primary residence anymore, we still run this as a homestead, and we make videos here and we chat with you guys and we have a lot of fun. And so I expect that to continue for the foreseeable future. And so this is going to keep on cranking away. And probably this time next year, maybe spring of 27, it will be fully paid off and I'll be in the green for the rest of this property's life. So hopefully that was an interesting and informative, if not a little bit data heavy video for you guys. I wanted to get a little more into some of the financial aspects of the homestead or the investment aspects of the homestead to see how this whole experiment has actually played out over the last 5 years. So thanks for joining in. I'm gonna get up off the roof now. My neighbors think I'm insane. I'll see you next time. Good luck in the garden and keep on growing.